Okay, let's talk England though. Congratulations to them, of course, to reach the final, and a word on the club's former academy man and coach, and of course the manager himself at time, in Steve Allen. What a fantastic achievement.
I think everyone who's met the guy knows he's a terrific guy, a humble guy, a terrific coach, and he's the best of the best. Simple as that, and he deserves all the plaudits that come him and Gareth's way. Gareth's got the same values as Steve in terms of their humility and their sort of emotional management skills, if you want to call it that, complemented with terrific football skills. So it's no surprise to see them done so well. It's been a 4, 5, 6 year thing, this. You've got to remember that the 17s won the World Cup, the 19s won the World Cup, and Steve and Gareth were with the 21s for 2 or 3 years before the last 3 or 4 years. This is how long things take. We know that at this football club. and England have got the right recipe, and they've got to keep building behind. Because if they keep building behind, they'll keep being able to produce, in major tournaments with the senior team, and that's one of the, for me, that's the biggest credit for not just Steve and Gareth, but the people who put in place that process for England a good few years ago now. They're seeing the fruit of their loins, if you like.
Just looking at it for your position, your football club, it's galvanised the nation, no doubt about it. We've had a horrible time. So other parts of the world as well. But can it have a knock-on effect, Dave? Inspiration to clubs like Crewe, the national team?
Yeah, I think football, sport in general, can inspire, like everyone. I've been in the canteen this morning, breakfast, all the lads. They had a tough day yesterday, a real tough day yesterday. Right? Nobody's in a bad mood. No one's in a bad mood. Some of them are a bit sore and a bit stiff today. They'd have been far worse if England had have lost. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Because there's a psychology thing. There's oh God, England lost, and oh God, I've got to go to work and I feel a bit stiff, and oh God. England win. Even your Mikas, your Tom Lowry, your Sean McDonald, your Wills, your Triggers, who are all foreign, because 3 or 4 of them are Welsh, that's foreign. They come in and they're bright and bubbly, because it's football, sport inspires people. It alters mindsets. So can England's performances up to now inspire? Of course. It already is doing. That's the beauty of sport. We've got the Olympics coming up. We've got the Lions Tour of South Africa, which still goes on. We've got the Rugby World Cup, the Rugby League World Cup later on in the year. If you can't get inspired by sport, yeah, well, I'm not going to be your friend, that's for sure, because you haven't got the same values as me. That's not me being, I'm better than you. I don't mean that. I mean, I just won't have anything in common. If you want to talk about changing a carburettor on a car, or how nice your peonies look in your garden, great. I really respect you for taking so much interest in something you love. But I'm not going to have anything to talk to you about. That's the truth. That's how it is. Because football, particularly in this country, but other sports, inspire people. And that's the beauty of it. That's why, we've just seen 60,000 fans in Wembley on a research project. It's got bugger all to do with a research project, because the government want everyone to go and cheer on England and win, to probably spend a few more bob in the pub and buy some more shirts and flags and all the rest of it to help, economy and the feel-good factor, because we've all been in, a fairly rough place for the last 12, 15 months, haven't we? So, I know if I were someone in government, I'd be saying 60,000, 90,000. Not recklessly, you're going to have your lateral flow tests and jabs and all the rest of it. But, we've got to, that's how sport, that's the beauty of sport for me. And we're no different in this football club.
You're in full pre-season training now. How's it gone for them? You already just mentioned there they had one tough day yesterday. I suppose they had a few more of them as well.
Yeah. It's not easy. You know, I've said to a few of them, if I could give you a pill and it made it all easy for you, I would. But there's no substitute, I'm afraid, this time of year. It's a real tough week. They're in Monday to Sunday, and as luck would have it, you know, there's some genius has planned that they have next Monday off already. We did that a month ago, because we sort of knew, or we hoped. And I think when they first got the schedule, they were going, bloody hell, we're in for 7 straight days. We've got one day off, like last Sunday in 12. You go, yeah, that's it. No, 11, I think it was. You go, yeah. And when they realise that it's the final on the Sunday, and they'll get the Monday off, then, well, I think they've come round to the fact that they're in all this week, and they're quite happy to be in all this week if it means they get next Monday off. So, it's a tough week. It's a real tough week. It sets the groundwork for a physically productive season. You know, then we've got to add in the technical stuff and certainly the tactical stuff, integrating new players. But that's part of what pre-season's for. So we're in the middle of this tough week, and the players are going along well at the minute.
I want to just talk a little bit about an interesting point that I heard from the interview with Tommy Herman, and he said he'd never been at a club where so many individual players had conquered the grueling bleep test as your club had. That must be really encouraging, Dave, because that is something that players don't really like doing, but to get 7 or 8 players through it. Wow.
Yeah, I think there were 7 that completed it, and we're not like one of them that the beep happens and they're all already halfway down the stretch kind of thing. We make sure they do it properly. But I think we had 5 last year. And listen, the bleep test, is it a bit old hat? Yeah, on one hand, but on the other hand, it's certainly a benchmark, unequivocal, objective benchmark for where the players are at physically. And we've got some runners. We have got plenty of runners. I can't think of a game last year where we were physically poor. That's not to say that some teams finished stronger than us and we didn't finish stronger than others on occasion. I don't think we ever got outran or overran, and that's a credit to Liam last year, and it'll be Tom this year, and the work we do with them, on the pitch at the right time, and that's going to continue. I know I spoke to Paul Cook when our 23s played their 23s, so it must have been the first week of May. It was before the last game of the season, Monday before the last game of the season, I think it was, and he said he's going to make changes because Ipswich can't run. They haven't got enough legs in the team, was his words. And he waxed lyrical about how we were like that. It's important. It's important. You look last night at the England game, saw Kyle Walker come from absolute nowhere. He's got legs, and he's got an absolute 3,000cc motor somewhere in him. Because and you've got to have that in your team. You can't just be technically proficient but not run. And we feel as though we've got enough legs in the team, and we've got to then make our tactical and technical abilities shine through at the same time. So, yeah, it's a pleasing aspect of the group.
That pre-season continues grueling. I think you've picked up a day at Delamere Forest. Am I right? Can you confirm that? And what's in store? Because that is something that opens up their eyes of when they went a few years ago.
Yeah, it's the annual yomp. Groups of 4 or 5, 6, bag of peat, 10k, up and down hills. If 1 ounce of peat doesn't come back in that bag, we'll go again. And they won't want to go again, or we'll go and get the peat. That's the 3 for 12 quid, and we use that to put on our first team pitch afterwards.
You really think though, don't you, that those type of changes of environment and different approaches to pre-season do help and mentally get to the players as well?
Yeah, look, they all can do a 10k run. All of them, easy. Can they do it with a bag of peat on? Can they do it while reading a map? Can they do it while sharing the load? Can they do it while going up and down hills? Is the leadership, is the camaraderie there? All that kind of stuff. That's the value of it. That's the value of it. That's why, you know, only your SAS and your army people do, you know, assault courses and carrying planks for 5 miles and etc. You know, that's what it is, because that's what, now they have to do that in the heat of the battle, so it's far harder for them. But you know, there's certainly things to take, and we've done that for 3 or 4 years now. And don't get me wrong, I think they've finally mastered where to run on the map, because for the first couple of years we started off on Delamere and some of them end up in bloody Frodsham. You know, and I've said, one year the ranger come and said, "Are you with all the lads in the red tops?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "On the other side of the road, about 5 miles away." Oh my God. So yeah, but I think they know where to run now. But the challenge doesn't get any easier. It's just, you know, it's the other stuff. It's the sharing the load and the looking after their baby called Pete. So.
Brilliant, you're in good form this morning. Goodness gracious, don't know how I can keep up with you. Anyway, 4 new faces already signed up. Some of your own done and dusted as well. What's your own view now of how your squad is shaping up, Dave?
I think we're in a good position. Have we still got business to do? Yes. Are we in a particular rush? No, because we feel comfortable where we're at. And we'll move when the time's ready. You know, there's a lot of clubs that are still chasing the tail a little bit, and I don't think even, maybe they are panicking, I have no idea, but I think the market's going to come right back to us. So I'm quite happy where we're at, really. And we'll keep doing the work so we're ready to move when we find one and when we see one, if you like, and that's where we're at.
And while you just keep progressing and holding talks with players and agents, what would be satisfying to you? You know, we're probably 4 weeks away from the season kicking off, in terms of numbers that you would like to just fill the squad up with now.
2, 3. That's sort of numbers. You know, I said at the start, at the end of the season, anywhere from sort of 6 to 11. I think it'll be probably 7. I don't think we'll lose anyone. If we lose anyone, we'll replace them. You know, so we might end up at 7, might end up at 8. I think that's the way we're at. I think it's, like I say, I think we're comfortable at the minute where we're at. Now, if we still need 3 in 4 weeks' time, we might be chasing his tails a little bit, but then still not panicking. I still don't think we'll be panicking. It's not, you know, I don't think I've ever panicked in a transfer window. I think you've got to be reasoned and considered, and I think it's always easy. It's always a better position to have your money in your pocket, because you can move, rather than you know, throwing it away on something that you don't want to do. So, like I say, we're quite comfortable where we're at the minute. So we'll keep doing the work, keep working hard, and hopefully get the right ones in.
Well, you got one of your own in since we last spoke to you, in terms of Calum finally, you know, elected to secure his future at the club. Well worth the wait for you, because you've got high hopes for him, and it's his time coming now.
Yeah, I think Calum's been unfortunate certainly in the last 2 years. 2 years ago, you know, he certainly played his part in getting us promoted, without a shadow of a doubt, but not a huge part, and he could have played a bigger part, and he was a bit unfortunate. Last year he got injured, but played enough, and we've got to make him now play enough again as a minimum, but then also have a really effective season. You know, in terms of goals, in terms of assists. So can he have a mixture of what Owendale and Charlie Kirk did, if you like? You know, goals and assists, because that's what he's in the team for. Is he capable of it? Sure, 100% he is, because we wouldn't have kept him on if we didn't think so. It's as simple as that. So we've got to get more out of him. But is you know, the important bit is he's capable of doing it. So, you know, we'll hopefully have a really productive season, you know, with him.
We get into the games on Sunday. It's going to be a good day on Sunday, hopefully, for everybody. You've got your first pre-season game down at Nantwich, and supporters back as well. Yeah,
I was as delighted when the government sort of said what they said and the EFL said what they said, because it's been a long time. Like I said, we saw last night, we saw against Germany, the effect that fans can have. We saw it against Northampton at home. The 2 games we had with fans in, won them both at home. You know, one of them in the last kick. There's an emotional investment. I said it earlier, you want that inspiration. It's an emotional attachment to something you love, sport. You know, people don't follow, whether it be football or rugby or whatever it might be, just because they can. It's because they love it. It's because they've got an emotional affinity to it. You know, you follow the Crew Alexandra up and down the country. It's not because you want 5 hours away from Barb, is it? It's because you love the football club. It's because you love football. You know, don't get me wrong, Barb wants 5 hours away from you, but that's a different kettle of fish. You know, but you get my point. You know, so when fans are allowed back in, which the first one being Sunday, it's going to be, you know, terrific, if you like. I know it's limited still, and I think next Saturday is limited as well, a week on Saturday. But then obviously from the Stoke game, you know, don't get me wrong, all fans, all people, society in general, has got to be mindful that there's differing views on where we're at. So I hope that, and I know our fans are bright and intelligent, and by that I mean they understand. You know, I don't think we've ever had any issues. I don't know, I might be wrong, with our fans. So if somebody's wearing a mask, or if somebody's not wearing a mask, just accept that that's where they're at. If a steward's saying, hang on a minute, because this corridor needs only 2 people in it at a time, please stand back. The club will relay all that information. I'm sure if there is that information, but that'll get us all into the games again. That'll get us the crowds in, you know, and that acceptance of where we're at for the next few weeks, months, or however long it might take, it'll lead us to, you know, seeing live football again. So, and that's what we all want. So, it's exciting again.